Now I want to show you some of the most important tips here. So I'm going to be showing you some of my hacks on how you can actually grow a small account to a bigger trading account, because I know most of you guys actually here watching this channel right now probably do have small accounts and you guys want to convert those small trading accounts to bigger trading accounts. Because to me personally, that's what I've actually been, I started up with a small trading account, but of course had to be able to scale it up to something big. Okay, so what's up guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel, and of course it's your boy Vidola back in today's video. It's about time to get lit. Okay, we are going to be sharing something so important. So if you're not subscribed, guess what, make sure you subscribe, because we basically share trading knowledge here and of course some personal growth skills. So we are going to slide into the video. Now before we go into that, in today's video I'll actually be doing some live trading. I'll actually go deposit the money on my account, just something less, about $100, and we will actually be able to trade. Now there are a few tips of course that we just have to understand first, so we are going to discuss this first. Now on growing a small account, what do you basically need to know? Now these are really so important, and I want you guys to put them into consideration. Now we do have the rule of risk management, that you have to risk 1 to 2% of your trading account. But now the issue in here is that when you're actually trading on a small account, you won't be able to risk 1%, right? So let's say you're trading on about an account of $100, like what we are going to actually be doing in this video. You can't be able to risk 1%, because 1% of $100 is just about $1. Yo, that's really so small. So it means if you're risking $1, you're going to place a lot size of 0.01 with a stop loss of about 10 pips, but that's ridiculous. You could easily be stopped out and then see the markets going to your direction. So you can see that's the first thing. So we're going to discuss some important tip on risk management. Not basically risking 1%, because we said it basically won't work on a small account. Then the next thing guys is we're going to be of course looking at a given strategy, the strategies that are actually used on growing my account, because you are going to use a trading strategy for big accounts on your small account. Why? Because it could possibly blow you up. You could easily blow up your account, because you could find this strategy maybe it requires you to hold your trades for a long time, or maybe it requires you to be a scalper where you're going to open up a trade and just make some little profits and your account is literally not growing, right? So what we are going to do is we are going to go straight deposit the money with you guys on my trading account. I'm going to deposit something so small, about $100, and that's about 360,000 Ugandan shillings probably. And then from that we are going to do some analysis together and we shall actually come up with a trade. Okay, so let's go to the trading desk and get some money on. So I'm just going to go ahead and log in. So I'm just going to go ahead and log in to my trading account and then deposit. Okay. I'm basically done with depositing, just like how you guys can see in here. So it's basically $100 right here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to slide to charts, do the analysis with you guys, and we will get those trades in. Now we are on a chart straight away. So what we are going to be looking at, we are going to get one currency pair or even more, as long as we actually get a setup and take a trade in this particular video. Now one keynote guys in here is when you're trading on a small account, you shouldn't be looking at pairs like gold, Nasdaq, US30. No, because those pairs are so volatile, and the problem is when you're actually trading on a small account of about $100, just a slight move on let's say Nasdaq, it could probably either blow up your account or flip your account. But let's look at the blowing part. So I do not encourage you to trade those pairs. Don't trade GBP, don't trade gold, don't trade Nasdaq, don't trade US30 on a small account. Okay, Now we can actually also consider spreads. Spreads are really so important in trading in here. If you're trading on a small account, don't trade a pair with big spreads. Nope. Now to my recommendation, you should actually look at pairs like Euro USD, maybe GBP USD, or maybe USD JPY. GBP USD also has some bigger spreads more often enough, but it can also be traded, and that's what we are going to be looking at in here. So we are going to look at either GBP, JPY, or any other pair. So let's dive straight into it. Now we're going to look for this GBP, JPY. We did some analysis yesterday, and we took a buy, and as you guys can see in here, it was deep profits. Check this out. So we took a buy from around this region yesterday. I guess you guys remember from the last YouTube video that we actually posted. You guys can check it in here and see how the analysis was actually like, and see how we got this trade in here. Now let's see. So this is this is GBP JPY, and of course it's currently in a very good upward move. The momentum is really so much. So to me personally, when you're trading on a small account, I do not recommend that you enter trade when it's in an impulsive move. Why? Because the moment you actually enter, it's when it's going to come for a pullback and your account is gone. Okay, so you should actually look for a trade where the markets are probably maybe on a pullback, so that you can actually get a great entry point. Now this let's look at GBP JPY right now. So we are on the H1. You can see that the move is really so big. We can see an upward push, as you guys can see in here. Now like I said, we're not going to take a trade immediately right here. Why? Because the move has literally left us. So what I would do is I would wait for a pullback. Okay, I would wait for a pullback up to such a level. Of course, you guys remember we said when we have an impulsive move, the markets are going to push either up or down, and then come for a pullback. Coming for a pullback is regaining more momentum and push, right? So that's what I would be looking at such a particular point. Okay, so it means for now I'm not going to take any trade on GBP JPY, so we can leave that. Sorry, let me try on the M15 and see how it's actually looking at like. Still same thing. You can see that it's still kind of pushing up, so let's expect a pullback. And yep, so let's look at some other currency pair, guys. So we can try Euro USD, because I had initially saw some trades on Euro USD. Again, of course, you guys remember the rule of thumb in here. We are starting from bigger time frames, H4 or H1, and then that gives us the overall outlook. Okay, so there we go, and this is how we are currently looking at. So we being on the H4, we can see it was a beautiful continuous downtrend. Of course, if we were to draw some trend lines, I would have one here. Let me adjust this to be a bit accurate. Remember, we have to have at least 3 touches. Okay, so we have this, we also have this, we also have this. Okay, so it means the markets are currently pushing away from the trend line. Okay, let me show you real quick here. So you can see that the markets are pushing away from a trend line, right? So that's the first thing that I'm actually looking at. Now let's see what exactly could be our trade in here, right? So but of course, from this, what would come into my mind at first is, since it's literally pushing away from the trend line, I would have to mark out a given level. So I can mark out this this level, because I can see it was a previous key level. So yeah, up to such a given level. So I would expect a pullback back to that level, and I think it actually happened, though we can see once, twice. So we would have to look for the third time. Anyway, now let's do this. So we are looking at this right now, it bouncing from the trend line. So I'm going to kind of zoom in and see, get the bigger picture. Awesome, let's go to H1. There we go. Hey, so you guys can see that the overall thing in here is I'm looking for key levels, right? I've always discussed this with you guys multiple times, and I guess you guys can really digest the idea in here. Now there we go. So I have another trend line. Boom, as you guys can see. So again, the markets are bouncing off from here. Now what does that mean to me? So first things first, I saw the markets were bouncing off from a trend line on the H4 like we discussed before, as you guys can see in here. So this is going to kind of give me a short-term trade, okay, a short-term trade. Let me see. There we go, we're back to it. So I'm going to scale down to M15. M15 is where I actually get trades. All my magic actually happens on M15. It's where I'm getting trades. It's where everything is literally happening. On M15, when it's M15, I'm getting that trade right away. Now, this is how we are looking like on M15. Now, we have two options. We can see that we are bouncing off from the trend line back to the upside. Either ways, we can see kind of a short-term trend line, this one here, right? Meaning that we could again see either the market's pushing up and then maybe probably coming for a pullback and then pushing to the upside, or coming back to the downside, right? But we need to get a trade in here. So now let's see. So now to me, here's what I would be looking at. So initially we said we could expect our markets at least to retest this previous level here. So I would be looking for buy at this point. Why? Because the first thing, we had the first trend line on the H4. We saw that the markets were actually bouncing off the trend line, and then second of it all, we have the second trend line on the M15. We can see again the markets are pushing above. Now if I took a buy at this point here, of course I'm going to have a target of 2 and then a stop loss of about 1, so that I can have 1 to 2 risk to reward ratio. Being stopped out here is also fine. I wouldn't mind about that, because that's my overall analysis. So what's the key in here again? It's you trusting what you have actually analyzed. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get these trades on my MT4 straight. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to look for Euro USD. I do not have it in here. Let me show you real quick. Yeah. So this is how Euro USD looks like on my MT4. So I'm going to get my trades in. Now the key note in here, guys, is remember it's only $100. Let me show you again. Remember it's only $100. Now the minimum the biggest lot size that I'm actually going to use in here is 0.01 lot size on $100, because if you actually risk a lot, it's to your disadvantage. You could probably lose your account all of a sudden. Now let me get the trade in here. So I'm going to enter just 2 small positions, 0.01 buy. Okay, I entered 3. So this is how we are looking like right now. So I'm currently in losses. Of course, as you guys know, whenever you enter a trade, you're going to start with losses because of the spreads, okay? But if we can see again on our trading view here, what we actually entered the trade from, we are already sliding into a little profits in here. These are the positions that I've actually opened up. I have 3 positions here, 0.01 all on buy Euro USD. Now this does not mean that all my positions are going to be into profit. Nope. But depending on the analysis that I'd actually made here with you guys, this is what I looked at. So I'm going to be looking at a target of about 20 pips. But then if I kind of try to confuse myself and bring in some confusion, or maybe because I've seen a trade from some other trader and I'm trying to confuse and change my idea, it doesn't make sense, because all in all I'm going to get again into losses. And so what we are going to do is I'm going to hold these trades, and then guys, I'll just share screen recording of these later on. Okay, so that's basically what I wanted to share with you guys. So see you guys in another video, and I am out.